Guys, really quick, we all know Christmas is right around the corner. And if you guys have not picked out a gift yet to either get yourself or to either ask your wife to get you to put under the Christmas tree, well, how about LFATV merch just right on time? We got these pretty cool shirts made. We got the LFATV logo on the sides. How about that right there? We got the 7M note. You guys know what time it is. We got the other LFATV logo on the side. I got a few of these guys. I got a few large and a few extra large. Sorry, I don't have any small and I don't have any medium. So yeah, you guys want one of these shirts, go ahead and shoot me a message on my Facebook page, Luis Arriaza. The link is always down below. And add me on Facebook, send me a request and send me like, hey man, I need one of those shirts. The price on these is $25 shipped anywhere in the US. So yeah, how about that, guys? Woo! Let's get into this video. Hey, well, what's going on, LFATV? This is your boy Luis, and as always, thanks for tuning in to another episode. On this episode, we're going to be working on a couple of things. We got to keep on moving. We only got a month and a half, and we got a lot of work to do. So on today's video, we're actually going to be talking about or wiring up our TPS sensor, which for the moment, since my custom intake manifold, the one that Curly Fab has actually been working on is not finished, we are going to be using for the old one for the time being. As you guys can see, I was actually running before a regular, just early 90s TPS sensor. I believe this was off of this is actually my stock 7M GTE one. So this one has 4 pins. As you guys can see, I cut it out, and I took the time to look this up and do a little sketch for you guys and for myself as well. So this is the way the TPS sensor is pinned out. Pin number 1 is ground, number 2 is idle switch, which is this is not going to be used on the ECU master. Number 3 is a TP signal, and number 4 is the 5-volt supply, which is going to be coming from the ECU. The other thing that we're going to be working on is also my 2 knock sensors. So as you guys remember, I'm using just regular Bosch knock sensors, and as you guys can see here, let me turn this on real quick. We got that right there. So those are the regular knock sensors that I'm going to be using. That's also been talked about before. But this is the pin out. So pin number 1 is the signal, and pin number 2 is sensor ground. The sensor ground is going to be led to the ECU. So let's get this going, guys. Alright guys, so the 2 pins that we're going to be working on for the knock sensors is pin number 2 on the black connector and pin number 10. So that on the black connector is basically number 2 right there and number 10 right there. So dang, look how much I'm shaking, guys. I don't know why, but whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. Knock sensor. So this is the signal and also the sensor ground. So both sensor grounds are going to be connected to the sensor ground specifically, and that's number 18. So pin number 18 on the sensor ground is going to be the one that both knock sensors grounds are going to be connected to. So both of those wires are going to be connected to this number 1 pin. Alright guys, so the same process kind of always repeats itself. We got the 2 knock sensor signal inputs pretty much thrown through the firewall, and then we pretty much cut them to length on this side. Now all I gotta do is gonna put them on to the corresponding pin. Alright, so those two are done. Now I'm gonna run the two sensor grounds. Pretty much same process. Once again, guys, run them through the firewall and cut them to length on the sensor side. Alright guys, so for the sensor grounds for the knock sensors, I'm currently going to leave them like this, not hooked up to anything, because there are a couple other components that are going to be requiring the sensor ground supply from the ECU. And I know it's kind of hard to see, but here's a diagram that I have that was supplied by you know, a friend online. He was kind enough to send me this, but this is the ones that are going to be requiring the sensor ground are the TPS, the IAT, which I have yet to install because I need to put it on my intake manifold, and another one are the knock sensors. So once I have the TPS sensor ground going into the cabin and the IAT sensors ground going into the cabin, then I will connect all of those to the same exact pin. That way we don't make any extra connections. So IAT, TPS, and Bosch sensors grounds are going to be all going to the same pin in the ECU. Now the TPS is one of those components that's going to be requiring a 5-volt supply from the ECU. So it's a 5-volt supply. We got the sensor ground and the TPS in going into the ECU. So that's the next thing that we're going to be wiring. So let's get started. Alright guys, so we got the old intake manifold on for now. If we have to take this to the show, so be it, until the other one is actually done. But yeah, got the diagram here. We're going to start running out the wires, the ones that are needed. Number 2, the idle switch is not needed for the ECU master, so we're only going to be working on 1, 3, and 4. So ground, signal, and 5-volt supply. Alright guys, so we got our 5-volt supply, we got our TPS signal, we got our knock sensors and TPS grounds. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and run another ground for whenever I connect the IAT, and basically that way I could just go ahead and pin all of these together to the sensor ground and not worry about it later, or wait till I actually connect it. So I'm gonna go ahead and run another ground, label it for the IAT sensor ground, and basically connect all of these together to that one pin where it needs to go. And here's the intake air temperature sensor. So I am basically gonna go ahead and route you know, the 5-volt and the sensor ground lines out. Cool, so we just gave ourselves plenty of length to cut down whenever we need to when it comes down to that. I actually got a bong too to be able to weld the IAT to the intake manifold whenever it comes down to that. But now it's just time to basically pin out all these wires. We got 7 wires to pin out and basically connect, so let's get to it. So I honestly do not know how you guys went about this, but all my sensor grounds, basically I ran them together. I used one of these butt connectors, clamped it down extra tight, make sure it was not coming off, and then did one, and basically did one coming out to the pin. So this one's going to be connected on the plug side. So I mean, what do you guys think? Be honest guys, I know I'm not a professional, and this is the way that I thought about doing this. And if you guys have a better method, please let me know down below and I could change this up. But for now, this is the method that I thought that would work great. And these things are not coming off, so let me know. There you guys have it. Little by little, we are tackling this thing down. So we got basically the IAT, TPS, and knock sensors wired in today. Those were all on the black connectors, as you guys can see. So as far as that goes, it looks like a mess right now, but basically all my coils are right there. Got all the injectors up here. I just have them up here right now because I threw them over on top so I could throw on the intake manifold. But I got the injectors, I got the TPS sensor, in which they're on this side, they're not wired in yet. I got the knock sensors down there. One of the things left is the TPS, which this is the stock TPS, and you know, some people have ran the stock one and some people have had to switch to the digital one. So this is something that we're going to be tackling on its own. But other than that, guys, a couple other things left, I would say, are the flex fuel sensor, the fuel pump, the TPS. So that's 3 things. What else? I know there's a couple other things. I know I need the, the O2 sensor. So my wideband. So there's a couple of things left actually still. But little by little, guys, we're tackling it. I know right now the wires look like a mess. But like I said, I need to run everything first out here and then begin to like actually do the little spinning thing so that actually the wires are more organized and neat, kind of like I did with this, but you know, that's just temporary. But that's pretty much it for this episode, guys. We got a few things done. Like I said, we got quite a bit more to go, but the way things are going kind of smooth right now, it shouldn't take that much longer. One of the things that I'm actually worried about is the TPS, because I have the stock TPS. So some people have made it work. We'll see how that goes. But other than that, you know, as far as like the temperature sensor, oil pressure sensor, things like that, I could use the OEM ones, or do them digitally with the ECU. So I mean, other than that, guys, that's it for this video. If you guys have any comments, concerns, or any suggestions, or hey man, you're doing this wrong, comment down below, guys. I read through all the messages. So that's pretty much it for this episode, guys. A lot more to come. So, oh, by the way, happy Thanksgiving, late Thanksgiving, guys. All right, peace out.